Thank you so much. Social media lit up sometime last week after pictures and videos of the flooded Akobi community somewhere in Surulere, Lagos State went viral. Now, this is just one of the many cases of floods, especially in the Lagos metropolis. After I came across those pictures and videos, I began to ask certain questions. What are the causes of the floods? Are there ways that we can prevent the floods from reoccurring in the nearest future? In a situation where the floods have already occurred, are there structures on ground to help those who have been affected by it get adequate help? Hopefully all these questions will be answered on the show today. My name is Charles Bourne, and I welcome you to yet another interesting episode of Inside Out. Today, I have a very amazing panel that will be helping me do justice to a particular topic that I think is very sensitive. We'll be talking about environmental disasters today. Environmental disasters, and we'll be focusing on the issue of floods. After this short commercial break, I'll be introducing my guest, and we'll go straight to the topic of discussion today. We'll be right back. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're welcome back. Now it's time to introduce my guests. I would start from my right. I have with me Mr. Monday Edet. He is a member of the Nigerian Environmental Society and also doubles as the secretary of the Nigerian Environmental Society's Flood Committee, and he's also an environmental activist. Welcome, sir. I also have with me Mr. Biodu Bamboe. He's the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Environment. Welcome, sir. I also have with me Ms. Blessing Iguatu. She's a victim that's been directly affected by the issue of flood. Welcome. And last but not least, I have Mr. Joseph Onoja. He's the Director, Technical Programs at the Nigerian Conservation Foundation. Welcome. I would like to start with you, Mr. Edet. We have been having issues of floods, which is no news in the state recently. I'd like you to educate us. What exactly are environmental disasters?
Thank you. When you're looking at disasters, excuse me, there are disasters that are caused by human activity, and there are disasters that are caused by natural forces. The disasters that are caused by environmental disasters that are caused by human activity are termed environmental disasters. For instance, if you have oil spill across some of those explorations, that is environmental disaster. You know, you could have fishes die, you could have farmlands destroyed, you can have serious case acid rain, you know, that does not allow good yield of crops. So these are environmental disasters.
So is it safe to say that flood is an environmental disaster?
Part of it is environmental disaster. Part of it is natural disaster.
Natural disaster. So there is a difference between environmental disasters and natural disasters?
Sure. For natural disasters, you have things like windstorms,
okay.
Ocean surge. You know, you can also have like thunderstorms that you had, you know, these are forces that you cannot control. These are natural forces. You cannot control them. They are natural disasters.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to ask you, Blessing, you have been affected directly. I mean, he has explained exactly what environmental disasters are, and we can say that flood is a type of environmental disaster. So can you share your story as regards how this has affected you personally?
Okay, on Saturday...
Can you be audible, please, so we could hear?
On Saturday morning, at about 7 a.m., woke up, my mother woke me up because water was already entering into our house. Meanwhile, I stay in Okota, Kana Estate, Sele area, if you know. The flood, because of the rain, I wouldn't know why, we stay around Kana area, because it's called Kana Estate, so there's Kana around. So because of the rain that fell on Friday night / Saturday morning, I don't know for some reasons, it's actually the first time I'm experiencing it live. It has happened before, I wasn't around, but this one caught us off guard. I was sleeping, and you know what it takes for them to actually tap you and wake up, there's water entering your house and all that. So it was pathetic. I just woke up in that rush, and lo and behold, water. So we don't know what to do. We don't know what to lay our hands on. It was just myself, my elder brother, and my mom. So you can imagine what we'll be able to pick out from the whole house. It wasn't funny.
And this happened for how long, please?
It happened for a very long time, because it was actually raining, and we're praying that God would make the rain stop. So the water wouldn't even enter the house using the main entrance, because we stay at the down floor. Our stopper is as this high, and all of a sudden, the water passed it. We had to run out of the house.
It has not happened before? This has not happened before?
It has happened before, but not this level.
Okay.
And I wasn't around for it. So this one is what I experienced live. So the water rushed in, and we had to run out from our house for water. So it was devastating.
What area is this again, please?
Okota.
Okota.
Yeah.
How long have you lived in this area?
10 years.
And this is the first time you were experiencing it, but it has happened before?
Yes.
Interesting. Because of how sensitive this topic was, we decided to go to an area directly affected by this issue, this Akobi Crescent, Akobi community in Surulere, and this was exactly what people there had to tell us.
Actually, what happened on Saturday was a terrible thing. We've not even experienced it before. This is the first time we're going to experience such thing. And that Saturday started around 5 a.m. in the morning. When it started, we thought it's just a minor rainfall, all the stuff. But before we got to 6:30, the flood was so much that the first thing we could do is to save the children in the compound.
How exactly did the flood that happened on Saturday, how exactly did it affect you?
It affected me a lot, because where I was sleeping, I met myself on top of water. You know, a lot of things got damaged. Nobody living around this surrounding that will say he didn't get affected.
When that happened on Saturday, it was disastrous. It affects the trading and everything. The commuters cannot come in from left to right, you understand? And so many things has been said to the local government for them to pass on to the state governor, but nothing has been done.
Yeah. It's really affecting. At least all my shop is food for water, my freezer, everything got spoiled. At least one or two. The thing that spoiled is very, very much. I can't really say. Both my neighbor too is really affecting.
Welcome back. Well, that was really, 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 really touching, I must say. I'd like to ask you again, Blessing, what do you do?
Okay, I'm a fashion designer.
And you work from home, I suppose. How did this affected your business, I suppose?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
As regards what exactly?
Actually, I was supposed to make a specific load that day. It delayed my work. I was supposed to make a delivery, I couldn't.
You couldn't?
Then it affected my work, my machines, my materials, my customers' stuffs were really, really damaged.
Let me talk to you, Mr. Onoja. What role do you think the weather, climate change, has contributed to this issue?
Apart from the fact that climate is changing, it has the effect has been exacerbated by our actions or inactions, our irresponsible actions, if I'll put it that way. Yes, climate is changing, rainfall is increasing, the ocean level is rising, and but as I said, there are some actions that we do as well that is contributing to this, and that's what I want to dwell in.
Okay, so what actions?
Yeah, because when I saw those pictures as well, something struck my mind. You could see the way it was littered. It's not the government that littered those places. Those canals were provided by the government, but they were littered by our irresponsible action with our improper waste disposal.
So you're saying we're all to blame for this?
Yes, we are all to blame for this. Apart from the fact that, yes, climate is changing. Yes, climate is changing is an obvious fact. The ocean is rising. The water level is rising. But we must know that we are also responsible.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Let me talk to you, Mr. Bamboye. What exactly is the government doing as regards the waste? Because it seems like waste is one of the main causes of block drainage and all of that. So what exactly is the government doing about that?
Well, let me start by thanking the organizers of this program for bringing Lagos State into this discussion that is very, very sensitive and dear in the hearts of government. I must state that the issue of waste management has history, particularly in Lagos. There was a time when the cart pushers held the sway. We changed to private sector participants using their compactors, and we were managing it. We are transiting into bringing a consortium of high-yielding organizations, both local and international, to start managing our solid waste. And we have a complete package that is called the Cleaner Lagos Initiative.
Cleaner Lagos Initiative.
Cleaner Lagos Initiative.
Okay.
Which would not only address solid waste management, it also addresses other sorts of wastes. But we are transiting because we have noticed the deficiency and gaps created in the present way using the private sector participants. We are transiting. We are actually rebranding our LOMA, that is the Lagos Waste Management Authority, to move away from being operational and now becoming pure regulatory and monitoring agency.
I would like to ask you again. He said something that struck me. He talked about the fact that people contribute to waste and all of that, and you have also mentioned that. Now, how has the government been able to create awareness as regards that? And you also said something about building on the canals, which is really important. What schemes or what structures as regards awareness in this regard has the government, especially your ministry, put in place to educate people?
Thank you very much. Yes. We have never ceased using the public, the media, both the print and the electronic, in creating this awareness. In fact, if you look at most TV stations, there is either one key information or the other about the environment coming at least every hour to sensitize the people. We also have our environmental health officers who are all across the nooks and crannies of the state. They go about, they serve even abatement notices just to at least put people on their toes. Sometimes we give deadlines, remove this thing or put it in the proper perspective, or we come to help you remove it. We do so many things to really sensitize, but our people are just, I want to be, they just tend to have a very strong heart at doing the wrong things, and others keep quiet watching them.
Thank you. Wow, this is really interesting. Blessing, let me ask you now. You have been affected by this firsthand. What do you think can be done, especially in your own area, where you're coming from? What can be done by individuals in that area and also by the government?
Actually, he said it all already. We have to take necessary precautions, like try to watch our waste, like recycle them, like he said. We have these people, the LOMA are there to pack our waste when it's necessary, and those that cannot even afford it, we have what we call Kole in Lagos.
Affordability, is it expensive?
No, it's very, very cheap.
Not Kole now, Loma. Is Loma expensive?
To an ex-
I'm asking you. Is it expensive?
in my compound, we don't use it, so I don't.
You don't use Loma?
Yeah, we don't.
Loma doesn't come to your area?
It comes to our area,
But
we
it stops
don't.
before your gate?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay,
Yes.
go on.
So we don't use it in our compound, so
Okay.
I really don't know about that.
About that.
So some people use other means, why some people actually go to the extent of burning their refuge and all that, and all that and all that. So if we can consider all these things and begin to look for a way, if we can actually patronize the Loma, it would be nice.
Okay.
So they go and it gets recycled and all that.
Thank you so much, Blessa. I'm coming back to you, Mr. Bamboye. She mentioned something that I cannot but talk about. Loma doesn't. What area is that, please? Okota.
Canal Estate.
Canal Estate. So are there areas that Loma can't get to? I am surprised here. I haven't heard this before. I mean, Loma comes to my area. So are there areas that Loma can't actually reach? And if Loma can't reach her area, I mean, that's a big problem. So we'll keep having occurrences like this in her area. So, I mean, what's going on? I should ask that.
Thank you very much for the question. When she mentioned Kole, I was a little bit touched because the Koles are the cat pushers, and they are the ones that we have caught. In the last 1 week, we have caught them practically offload their debts in canals. You know, we have 3 types of water channels. We have the primary, which are the very big ones. We have the secondary that will loop water from the tertiary, which is the third one. The tertiary ones are the ones that pass through the front of your houses.
Okay.
While the secondary one will loop water from them into the primary canals that will now discharge into either the lagoon or the ocean, depending on how it is designed. Okay. The consultant environmentalist mentioned something about the master plan
Yes.
for drains. We have even revised it as most recent as 2016.
Okay, good.
We have a consultant that has done it for us, and we are working on it. In fact, we are trying to open some new, which they called very, very essential. They have marked it that some we just have to do. And that is what we have been doing. We also have our own package of the pre-rain, during rain, and post-rain management of those canals. It's not that we don't have those structures on ground, but the truth is, when you use a Kole in quote, where actually, if Loma is not there, we have a designated PSP that is managing it.
What is a PSP?
Private sector participation in waste management.
Okay.
We have them, they are private people, but they are registered with Loma, and they help manage areas that Loma are not actually covering themselves.
All right, so permit me to cut you right now. So we'll go on a commercial break, and when we come back, it will be time for our audience interaction. All right. Thank you so much. Welcome back. I've learned a lot, honestly, and I wish we had so much time, but we don't have so much time. I would like to take any questions or comments from members of the audience, or I'll start with you.
Good afternoon.
It's on. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Aziz. My suggestion is this, sir, to the permanent secretary, sir. I will urge Lagos State government to please partner with the CDAs, that is Community Development Associations, because these people are very closer to the people in the environment. They are well known. They can enlighten their people. Because in the area where I lived before I relocated to Ogun State, it is a normal scenario in my area whenever rain is falling. That everybody will come outside, you bring your waste bags and pour it on the gutter in front of your house.
What area is this?
This is Ijora.
Okay.
If you not do that, that means you are not smart. Because when the rain stopped, everything will stop at your own doorstep. So what you do also is that even though you don't pour your own waste bag, like what I do then, I will not pour our own waste bin, but I will stay outside, waiting for the one they pour from the down of the street. So I'll use stick to push it also.
Interesting. All right.
Then the issue of the PSP. In Nigeria, we normally have the issue, especially in Okeoja, we have that issue. I remember I visited the Loma office at Ijorolopa some times ago to make complaint. Like for 1, 2, 3 months, we not see the PSP. We not see them. And these Kole in quotes, they are still rampant in this area, making their money, cool cash.
Okay.
Because you wait for PSP, even whenever PSP will come, at times wherever they park, they will just stay at one location, maybe at the entrance of a street. And everybody will be coming with their waste bags, rushing, pushing themselves. At times they will fill the truck and the remaining waste will be on the ground.
It's always a problem.
So it's a problem, and people, wherever they park, the person that owns that, maybe it's a shop or a building, will be the one to face that problem when they left.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Any other question, please? Ooh, okay, let me do the lady.
Okay.
Quickly, please.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Catherine Ilo. I want to add to what she said concerning the Loma and the Kole Kole. For myself, as an example, I do pay for Kole Kole. I do pay for Loma. But most times I don't have the opportunity to throw away my dustbin because I have to leave the house by 7 o'clock and come back by 6, at least 6:30. Now this Kole Kole comes in as early as 6:30. They are on the street with their gong beating for you to bring in your dustbin. And they can actually walk all the way from where they are to your doorstep to come and pick it up. You pay them and just little money. But Loma, which you pay monthly, which I do, most times I don't throw away from the Loma. I remember when Loma started, sorry to take your time. I remember when Loma started, there used to be this metallic big basin they do keep at the beginning of streets that helps people to, of course, throw some of their dustbins there so that, of course, rain or whatever that comes cannot move it away. But these days, we don't find such anymore. Right. Most Nigerians, most Lagosians are at the mercy of Kole Kole. Because one, even though you pay for Loma, just like my brother said, most times you see them at the beginning of a road. So the two different streets they operate in, they will expect you to walk, to carry your dustbin and walk down to the road to bring it to them, which is not easy.
All right. Thank you very much.
I mentioned a new process that we are transiting into, which is the Cleaner Lagos initiative. Let me tell you that this initiative is going to provide job for 27,500 youths.
Oh, wonderful. Who
would be managing the cleaning of the inner roads.
I thought we would clap. That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
And the 377 wards that we have across the state.
Okay.
For the presidential routes and all major roads, we are introducing mechanized street sweeping, where an engine will sweep overnight to clean all those places and make things work. Let me quickly correct an impression on the fact that Loma that was mentioned, particularly about tenements. You see, it's not Loma doing the work, but Loma had engaged PSPs, particularly for most of the inner routes and roads. So that's why most PSPs will stay somewhere and they don't do it. But trying to substitute the service with that of a cart pusher is more injurious and devastating. And some of the consequences are what we are actually facing with this flooding. So the other aspect mentioned by my brother, that the PSPs are not effective. Basically, as a proactive government, very pragmatic, in the review of our process, we also discovered the inefficiency and ineffectiveness. And that is why we are bringing in a new system that will take effect from the ember months. But let me just wrap up that this government strongly believes in the youth. And we know the strength that we have in them. And that is why virtually all our programs, think of Employment Trust Fund, think of the reforms in the environment, think of what is happening even in poverty alleviation, everything runs around the youth population in making them self-sustaining and dependent, such that they don't need to look for white-collar jobs and they can be on their own and really make life.
Thank you very much. I wish I could take more comments, but unfortunately we're out of time. I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Biodu Bamboye for coming on the show. God bless you so much, sir. I'd like to also say thank you to Mr. Monday Edet. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Dr. Joseph Ononja, thank you so much. And Blessing, thank you for coming on the show. Well, that's all we can take on today's episode. I'm sure you have learned a lot. I have learned a lot of things today. There is something you can do. There's something I can do. There's something the government can do. It's a two-way street. Do your part, and of course, the government will do their part. Do not forget that you can keep the conversation going on all forms of social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And just in case you're not social media savvy, it's fine. We have numbers that you can send your comments, questions, and contributions to. Until I come your way again, I always say this: do not forget to turn your passion into a profession so that work becomes play. See you next time.